Next story on the list. Google Stadia is not going to be the Netflix of games, and it's going to offer one free game a month. This is from Rory Young at Game Rant. It says confusion about what Google Stadia Pro subscription service is has led the company to offer a correcting statement on the issue. In a Reddit Ask Me Anything Q&A, a Google Stadia representative made clear that, quote, Stadia Pro is not Netflix for games, end quote. In other words, paying for a Stadia Pro subscription won't grant access to a library of free games to play. Google Stadia, according to the representative, is better compared to Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus. A Google Stadia Pro subscription will grant players access to the cloud streaming service at as high as 4K resolution and 5.1 sound. Games will have to be purchased by subscribers separately. And so we've talked about how their monetization model is set up, but I think that this is definitely a newsworthy statement because we have all been speculating that the subscription cost is going to cover this, yeah, but there's probably going to be a stable of games that you can play as well. And it looks like that is, well, no, it doesn't look like that. It's not the case. That isn't the case according to the Stadia representative, and I think that changes the ballgame a little bit. I think you can step back from it and make it make sense. And I've explained it this way before. So if you're an Xbox One gamer, right? You're a guy who plays all your games on Xbox One. The way that it works is at the beginning of the console generation, let's say, you're going to go out, you're going to drop 500 bones on a console. It may come pre-packaged with the game, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have to pay for your live access, and you're going to have to pay for games on top of that. So you want to buy the new Halo game, $60. You want to buy the new Forza game, $60. You want to buy the new Call of Duty game, $60. So you're just shelling out $60 on top of the $500 in cash that you've already played. And so if we make that analogous to Google Stadia, the subscription fee that we're paying across months rather than just one lump sum is essentially like us paying for the console, right? Because the console gives us access to the technology to be able to play the games. When I buy an Xbox One for $500, brand new, put it on my desk, I've paid $500 for the ability to play the software that I'm going to purchase separately. And so I think when we step back from it, it makes a little bit of logical sense that, okay, the subscription is giving us access to the analogous console that is Google Stadia, this cloud, this streaming gaming service. However, when I spend $500 on an Xbox One, there's something that I uniquely get in that transaction that I do not get when I'm paying for a subscription service to gain access to the Stadia servers. And that is that I physically own an Xbox One console and I can set it on my desk and look at it and touch it. And it's tangible and physical, right? And I think that's where people, myself included, have a little bit of a hard time wrapping their minds around what Google Stadia is. And it's this continuous blurring of the line in what ownership means in all of media, right? This idea that you do not own the music that you purchase through iTunes, if you're still purchasing music through iTunes, you simply license that. If you buy games digitally on your PlayStation or Xbox, you do not own that game. You are licensing that game, right? And it's this blurring of the lines with ownership. And same thing here. Now, you do not own any portion of the Google Stadia platform. You are simply licensed to use it when you purchase a subscription the subscription to it. And I think that's tougher to wrap our heads around, especially when there's a free alternative to this that just doesn't give us the highest specs, right? And so it's going to feel like when I go to buy the next Call of Duty Modern Warfare, right? It's going to feel like it costs $60 plus whatever I'm paying monthly to gain access for it. I think it's just easier for us to comprehend this idea of I pay for the console up front, and then uh, and then I can use it to purchase games and play games through it, rather than I'm having to pay month over month over month for that same access that I'm getting already. And so I think the way that you soften that blow is by saying, like, yes, you're paying for access to the 4K resolution, to the 5.1 digital surround sound that you're going to receive through this, but you're also going to get this stable of games, because that's something that we understand. Our minds, the synapses in our brains can make the connection and say, oh, Google Stadia is the subscription I'm paying for. It's like the Netflix of games. And it doesn't have to be that I'm going through and there's like 500 fucking games for me to scroll through. It may just be, oh, here's 15 games that I get access to, right? And I think they'd be smarter to do that, because with Xbox Live Gold, right, or PlayStation Plus, those are things that, okay, back in the day we paid for those just for the access, but we've slowly built up a library through those services of PlayStation Plus games, of Xbox Live games with Gold. And so you have catching up to do there as well. So, like, I don't know what's holding Google back from just brokering a partnership that says, hey, you get this library of games. Now, one of the things to remember is that if you are a Stadia Pro subscriber, you automatically receive Ubisoft's Uplay Plus. Remember, that's the prediction that I fucking nailed during E3, right? Clairvoyant. Got my crystal ball, my crystal basketball right here. Oh, spirit of Larry Johnson, what other E3 predictions shall I make? And he's like, Master Chief is dead. I'm like, whoa, Larry Johnson, spoilers! Spoiler alert! By the way, Master Chief is not dead, that we know of. But Larry Johnson, speaking from beyond the grave, may be telling us that. I think Larry Johnson's still alive, too. So, there's also that. I don't know who. Probably a malevolent spirit being summoned by this crystal basketball. So you do get a library of games that you get access to. They're all Ubisoft games, but there are a hell of a lot of Ubisoft games. It's over 100 Ubisoft games. Is that even mentioned in this article? Did I read this whole article? Nope, Ubisoft isn't mentioned. Uplay Plus isn't mentioned. So yeah, I mean, you don't get a library of games from Google Stadia, but you get 100 Ubisoft games you can play, baby. Including all of the new releases for it, right? So, like, the first game announced that you're going to get is Destiny 2, which isn't a Ubisoft game, obviously. But that's going to be like the first month's free game for Google Stadia Pro subscribers. But then when Watch Dogs Legion comes out, boom, you've got it. When the new Rainbow Six comes out, boom, you've got it. When that Splinter Cell game that everybody thinks is coming, but it's probably never going to come, comes out, boom, you got it. All because you're a Google Stadia subscriber. So, to wrap all this up, that Scafidi says he was going to bring up digital games as well. And I think that's like my biggest hang up with all of this is like, we keep giving up ownership of shit. And it's going to come back to bite us on the ass. It's come back to bite many of people on the ass. People who get their like Sony accounts banned for whatever, something as little as a chargeback on a credit card one time. Boom. 10 years of digital game purchases, you don't have them anymore because they were licensed to your account, not to you. You didn't own them. You know, it's going to bite us when we start to and so now I'm having to pay for console access that I can't see, that's not tangibly there, and then pay for game access that's I can't see, that's not tangibly there. I'm paying for this service, which is like other floating out in the ether somewhere. I don't know. I think people are going to have a hard time wrapping their minds around this, and I can't blame them at all.